Welcome, everyone, to episode 122 of Rangers Ed. This is your host, Cousin Ed. I'm here with my co-host, Little Ed, Coach Ed, and our producer, Mike from Long Island Sports Network behind the scenes. This episode is brought to you by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. What's up, boys? Ready to talk a little Rangers hockey?
Shouldn't it be actually regular season episode 122? Because we have a lot more than 122 episodes.
Yeah,
lots of bonus
fans aren't going to know.
Yeah, lots of bonus content, lots of playoff episodes that we don't count in our count. This is, I guess Coach Ed clarified it properly. Our 122nd regular season episode.
Right. So we only number the episodes during the season. That's true, Coach. Good point. We're probably up until like 300 at this point. With
at least, yeah.
But yeah, an eventful weekend for you guys. I saw Little Ed. You were in the workshop doing your thing with the Breast Cancer Month for Stony Brook. That looked cool. Looked like a solid event.
Yeah, the boys, along with the sorority Sigma Alpha Tau, I believe it was. They put on a nice little breast cancer awareness night called the Pink Out Game, they called it. Solid turnout. A lot of the sorority girls came out to support the boys. They did a little raffle, a chuck-a-puck. We sold some merch, some T-shirts and stuff, all going towards breast cancer. So it was a nice little event they put on. I made a nice award for the quote-unquote unsung hero of the game, which I explained on Instagram. We were going to give it to someone who, didn't really get what we do, like the key contributor or someone that's not on the score sheet or something like that. But then one of our most improved players, a third liner, like a kid that he started out as our backup goalie 3 years ago. Oh, wow. So now he moved out of the net, and I mean, I don't want to say he could barely skate, but I mean, he learned a lot over the last 3 years, and he improved a lot, and he scored a hat trick.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
So you had to give it to him as the unsung hero of the night. Just so he can remember that. And, it was a nice moment for him and for the team. And like I said, they did a great job. Not sure exactly how much money they ended up donating, but at least on the merch, I think we sold like $100 worth of merch.
Nice. Yeah. I like the shot you took from the bench too, Coach Ed's hat. That was nice.
Yeah, I'm going to have to throw that on Instagram. But we also, breast cancer awareness, we still got these T-shirts. In October, hockey players wear pink with the podcast logo. So if you guys, I know October is almost over, but if you want to order one for next year, or you could wear it all year round, who cares? But it's all the profits are going towards breast cancer research. Haven't picked the charity yet, but I'll make the announcement when we officially make the donation.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing you're doing. I know breast cancer is a disease that touches a lot of families, and it's pretty common, and it's a sad thing. So, it's a nice touch on your part to put that all together so that we could donate and contribute to the research.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing things like this. Definitely want to do a Hockey Fights Cancer, which is more year round, I guess. You can kind of wear that whenever. It doesn't say October on the shirt. So I'm going to put together a design for that. I want to maybe do a military design we could put together to donate to a charity. Keep doing things like this, raise awareness for different charities, and also get views on the podcast. I mean, no secret there. That's what we're trying to do. So,
yeah, free ads for the podcast. Well, I had an uneventful weekend. I didn't really do much.
Oh no, you didn't watch Game 6 last night? That was
I watched it for sure on my phone. So yesterday, at 2:00. My wife's like, I want to go to this Taylor Swift concert in Miami. And I was like, okay, let's look at the tickets. And I was like, no, we're not going to the concert. This ticket prices, they were outrageous. Nosebleed, obstructed view behind the stage. We're going for thousands of dollars, like $1,200, $1,500, $1,600 tickets.
That's crazy.
So, she really wanted to go. None of her friends wanted to really pay that. So we decided, okay, let's just drive to the stadium, we got in through a connection to the park in the stadium with no tickets. We're sitting there just refreshing TickPick and StubHub, seeing if the tickets prices drop. They didn't drop. Then the first act of the concert goes on. I hear them singing in the stadium from the parking lot. I can hear the midway through the show, tickets aren't dropping. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to drop. And we weren't the only people doing this. There were hundreds of girls just sitting on the street outside the stadium on their phones, for sure, looking for tickets. For sure, just trying to
the operative word, girls.
Fair enough. So we hey, listen, it is
the average age also.
The things you do for love, So we were doing it, we're refreshing, and finally they dropped like a reasonable price, still overpriced, but reasonable price. I'm not going to say how much. And pulled the trigger, walked in, sat down. She came on stage like a few minutes after that. So we literally just, and let me tell you something though. She played 46 songs.
That's insane.
She pulled up the set list. She played 46 songs. It was like a 3.5 hour show. It was pretty crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I got to give her credit. Yeah, it's like this tour of like all of her albums. So she went like album by album. It's like a massive concert. So that might have been why the tickets were crazy. I don't know.
I mean, I guess that makes a little bit more sense, but I mean, yeah, I think it's crazy either way.
Yeah, but so Lindsay, Theo posted on Instagram, and Lindsay messaged Theo and said, "Oh my God, I'm so jealous." And I said to her, "I'm like, great, now I'm gonna have to talk about this on the podcast."
Well, Coach Ed came over for the Met game. I was wondering
why you weren't commenting on the Met game.
Yeah, Coach Ed came over for the Met game, so the Rangers Ed's chat was silent, and we're like, "Where could cousin Ed be? There's no way he's not watching the game."
I was watching the game on my phone, so I couldn't text. That's hilarious. Yeah, usually it's just me talking to myself in the Rangers Ed chat, so you guys must have been really concerned.
That's not true. We've been talking a lot about the Mets and shit lately.
I'm just messing around. But yeah, the Mets lost. That was tough. I got a lot of consolation texts, just like I did last year when the Rangers lost. And I got to tell you guys something. If you know somebody whose team does not win, I just don't text the person that you're sorry, but their team had a good run. Like, don't even bother doing that. It's pointless. It's a pointless text. It's not necessary. I do not want to talk about the Mets losing any more than what is happening right now.
It's kind of like a ricochet shot, or like, I don't know, like you're just driving it home, but trying to be nice about it. It's a subtle dig.
It's a subtle dig. There's no need.
Like, I don't need a Yankee fan. Yeah, I don't need like a Yankee fan telling me it was a good run or something. It's like, just go to the World Series and leave me alone. It's Ranger season now.
Yeah, so stuck on 2 championships for my teams since since I knew
since your teens, we'll call it.
Right. Stuck on 2. Got like 35, 40 years left to see some Rangers Cup, a Mets World Series. I don't know, Coach. What do you think? Coach, you've at least seen them all. You saw the Giants win a bunch of times. You've seen the Mets win. You saw the Rangers win. So
well, the 69 Mets, I was kind of like you were for the Stanley Cup. So I was, 6 years old?
Yeah, but you got 86.
86 was a great experience. I actually experienced a lot of that with your father that year.
Is it true that you guys ran on the field?
That was for the clinching game in September when they clinched the pennant.
Oh.
Back then, there was no wild card, right? So it was like you won the pennant and you went to the NLCS or whatever it was called then.
Oh, you won the division and you go to the championship series. Yeah. So did you like slide into a base, or did my dad do that? I remember hearing this kind of stuff.
I told you guys this story not long ago. I mean, your father didn't want to go.
Fans
we're going to get in trouble. Your father of all people's going, we shouldn't do this. We're going to get in trouble. They're announcing they're going to arrest people. I go, what? And we were, me, Joe Dara, Uncle Pat, and my friend John from work were on the rail on the first base right by the tarp. and you had no choice but to go over. As soon as Wally Backman went like this with the ground ball, you just went on the field. And I said to your father, I go, I'm going for second base. I was on the rail. By the time I got to second base, there was a pile of people. I just jumped on the pile, didn't come close to getting it.
It just jumped on the
I just
pile.
dove. I just dove up on the pile and landed on like 10 guys, like wrestling for second base.
Oh my god.
It was crazy.
It's like a
field was
scrum
torn.
for a loose football.
The field, if you watch videos of the World Series that year, you'll see how the field and the outfield was patched because people. I had a piece of sod about 3 feet by 6 inches over my shoulder. People
took
were
it?
just tearing up the sod.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's insane. Oh man.
and we went out over
All
the
right, well-
bullpen wall to get out. We hopped the wall.
I feel like I remember you showing me you had some in a Ziploc bag still in the attic.
I mean, if
Maybe.
possible, that's going to be one of eventually after I get caught up in the house itself.
Imagine
Want
we
to get
have
up in that
some
attic, and I probably got
Shea
a lot of
Stadium
stuff up there.
sod.
You gotta put it in the backyard. He's got it in the attic.
That's hilarious.
Oh man. All right. Let's we'll get there one day. Hopefully the Mets look like they're headed in the right direction. But congrats to all you Ranger fans out there who root for the Yankees. Good luck in the World Series, but I don't want to hear about it anymore. Anyway, all right. Let's jump into the jersey profiles, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Number 22, a lot of choices here. Went with Brian Boyle. Boyle played 355 games with the Rangers. That's a lot of games. He had 90 points, 44 goals, 46 assists. He played 58 playoff games with the Rangers and had 19 points in those games. So his point production went up in the playoffs. He was acquired for a third-round pick in 2009. Can you believe it was that long ago? But, one of the reasons I went with Boyle is the current fourth line, obviously, with Edstrom and Rempe have a couple of giants on there. But I feel like Boyle, for me at least, is the first time the Rangers did this, where they got a big fourth liner, 6'7" guy on the fourth line. He was the OG 6'7" fourth liner for the Rangers. And he's also still around the team. You guys know he sometimes does games at MSG in between periods. He does national TV games as well, NHL Network. I've seen him. And he's got a podcast with the New York Post, Molly Walker, and Larry Brooks. So he's still around the team. And I feel like at this point can be viewed kind of as a beloved Ranger, right?
I'd say so. I mean, I put on the graphic there that he was a member of the 2014 Stanley Cup final team. I mean, I think he played a huge part in that. I remember him scoring some big goals, being out there. I mean, you put in the outline. I also included in the graphic. He had 19 points in 58 playoff games. I mean, that's pretty decent for a fourth liner, I'd say. Pretty solid. And I remember them being some big goals, like not just like winning the game 5-2 or whatever, and he scored the fifth. I remember them being exciting. Like he was a beloved Ranger, like you said. I feel like I always bring up my buddy Bear, the huge guy that I went to college with and played with, but he was kind of Boyle was kind of his favorite player because they had very similar playing styles. We'll leave it at that. So,
I mean, Boyle.
Yeah, I loved Boyle, and I love him now off the ice too. He's great in the boot or in the MSG studio and things like that.
Let me tell you, I saw him in one of the games last year, like walking out of the press area. He is gigantic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big boy.
He's big.
Very
dude,
tall.
Just a little
6'7".
shocked that you went with Boyle, though. I mean, I love him too, but I mean, he did leave the Rangers. Unfortunately, I was hoping they would keep him, but I thought you'd go with your father's favorite.
Yeah. No, Nicky Fotiu for sure. The reason I didn't
last
go
time, I think.
that's why I didn't go with him is I was pretty sure we did him for episode 22.
Okay.
I wasn't 100% sure.
I think we had to.
I was between Gartner and Boyle, but we'll do Gartner in episode 222. Little spoiler alert.
Actually, it might have been Gardner. I could probably look back to see. Oh no, we weren't making the graphics back then.
I know. I was looking for graphics or an outline to see who we did, and we weren't as like official.
Well,
episode 22.
sounds like we have a job for Joey the historian.
Oh, that's right, Joey. Check. I want to know.
That's right. Forgot to shout out Joey the historian at opening night. We had a couple of little laughs. Great
Yeah.
fan of ours, shows up for almost everything we do.
Yeah,
And,
great guy too.
Just
Great
a
guy.
happy kid, loves being part of the excitement.
Yeah,
For
he loves
sure.
he loves hanging out with us and being part of it. And like Coach said, he's been a fan since day one. And yeah, we love all the fans.
That
It's a lot
being
of fun.
said, Joe, look it up.
Yeah, you have a job to do, buddy.
Yeah. All right, so let's move off Boyle, get into some of these games. Prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 2-0-1. They went 2-0-0 this week. A lot of off days. They're currently 4-0-1. They have 9 points, second in the Metro, fourth in the NHL. First game was at Detroit. It's the back end of a home and home, a 5-2 win. A 5-2 win after a 4-1 win in the first meeting, and then on the road in Toronto, Igor Shesterkin, outstanding 34 saves, a 4-1 win over Toronto. Much closer game though, 2 empty net goals there, but still a 4-1 win. But before we talk about this, we got to talk about this banner situation. I don't know, Coach, if you've been following this, but it's all over social media. The Rangers are just getting bashed for hanging a 2023-24 regular season champions banner in MSG. You saw it on the opening graphic for the episode. Mike, I don't know if you could play that without the sound, but you could show it just so Coach could see it again. Regular season champions 23-24 getting bashed for this, saying that it should say President's Trophy winners or don't hang it at all. You can't be a champion of the regular season. I kind of want to get your thoughts. A lot of podcasts and analysts are really giving the Rangers a lot of heat for this.
Why is that? Because if you look at the Little Caesars Arena, there's like 50 banners hung up in the Red Wings Arena. They didn't win 50 Stanley Cups or whatever number is hanging. You go to the UBS Arena, there's multitude, Patrick Division champs, this, that. I always used to make fun of the Islanders because they had all these banners hanging. So,
Well,
I
don't think
see
I don't
why
think the
they're catching
issue.
heat.
I don't think
I
the issue is
personally don't
raising
like
the
it.
banner.
I think it just. What's that?
I don't think the issue is raising the banner. I think the issue is saying champions, like regular season champions, instead of saying like 2023-24 President's Trophy winners or something like that. I think people are just upset or annoyed with the verbiage.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who makes that choice. I don't know how that's made.
Well, so that is correct. So I did, just so you guys know, I went and I looked to see what other banners are hanging in MSG as far as President's Trophies. Because remember, the Rangers won the President's Trophy in 91, 92. They also won it in 93, 94. They won it in 2014, 15. And the banners all say regular season champions. They've always hung that as the banner. They didn't say President's Trophy winners. And this is the first I'm hearing of it being a big deal. So I think it's just kind of like, let's make some content. It all started
Listen to this.
with Barstool Sports, this Pasha idiot, a Devils fan.
He's a clown. I mean, I agree. I
Complete joke.
Yeah,
Complete
I can't
joke,
stand.
that guy.
I can't stand that guy. But listen to this. I just looked up the Detroit Red Wings banners because Coach Ed brought it up. 2001, 2002 Western Conference regular season champions.
Western Conference regular
Yeah.
season champions. So that's
01,
the
02.
second.
I'm telling you, look
01,
up the Islander banners, and it'll have Patrick Division champs, conference champs.
Red
Cup
Wings
champs.
has that too. Central Division champions, but they also have 01, 02 President's Trophy. So I guess they did Western Conference regular season champs. No, that doesn't make sense either. Did they win the Western Conference playoffs that year and lose in the cup?
Well, it would
That's
just
not
say
the regular
Western
season.
Conference champions then. It wouldn't say Western Conference regular season
Right.
champions.
So why would they have Western Conference regular season champions and then also have a President's Trophy banner?
That is so dumb. But it doesn't, like, I don't know. I think it's much ado about nothing. Why is this a tough look for the Rangers? Coach is saying all these teams do it. You just proved it with Detroit.
Well,
I mean, what is
listen,
it? So what? It doesn't say President's Trophy winners. It says regular season champions. That's what a President's Trophy winner is. It's the champion of the regular season. There is a champion of the regular season. Who is the winner? What if it said regular season winners? Would that make a difference to people?
I mean, listen, I can't stand the guy Pasha. I think it's a silly argument because honestly, who cares? But I can't disagree. I think they should have just put President's Trophy. But then if you look back at the old banners, like before, say Dolan was making decisions or whoever's making the decisions now, they're not going to change it. So they're just going to match one of the old ones. And they're not going to change one of the old ones to then, you know what I mean? So I think they're just going to keep it consistent at this point. You know, or Dolan is just like he has that attitude where he wants to put champions. You know, it's just
No, that's not what it is. They've always done it that way. And also, I looked this up.
I'm trying to look up other teams.
The President's Trophy has only existed since 85, 86.
Islanders have Campbell Conference champions, Wales Conference champions.
Some other teams have President's Trophy winners. They do have that. I think the Blues have that when they won the President's Trophy. So they could do that, but the President's Trophy has only existed since 85, 86. So the Rangers have won the regular season before that. They just continued with the same verbiage in the entire arena. Period.
Right. So I'm saying just they're keep it consistent.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. Look, it's just a tough look because
it was on Chicklets. If it wasn't on Chicklets, no one would have said a word.
Right. Because they put on Chicklets and then those meatheads over there gotta, talk smack about the Rangers because that's all they do. That's all they do.
Well, you can't. I know you call Biz and Wit meatheads, but Posh is on a completely different level. That guy is.
No, I do that. I call them meatheads in like a playful way. But Pasha is a meathead.
Pasha's like. I don't even know if he's a meathead. That guy is just. They do it literally like we were talking about on the phone, just for clicks, and they run like a disclaimer now for him, like. Nothing that he says is like viable information because he's a deranged Devils fan. They run like a disclaimer before every time he comes on the show. It's pretty funny. So they do it as like a bit now. They just let him talk shit, and then they're like, all right, enough. Like you can't. Like they draw the line. They kick him off at one point. So like they literally just do it because he's a clown.
By the way, did you guys see that commercial with Biz in it with the fans like screaming out the window?
Yeah,
he makes his house. They're like. Those throw pillows don't match.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, it's funny.
I mean, anyway.
So the bottom line is every team does it. Every team has different wording and whatever. And that's really it.
Yeah. It's very strange. It's very strange to pick that as like the thing. I think it's just that the Rangers fans are so starved for a Stanley Cup championship, not a regular season winner, champion, whatever. So it's like an easy way to like dig under the Rangers fans like nails, like let's just get under there and really piss them off and make fun of their stupid banner. It's like, you guys are idiots. I mean, that was an amazing season. Look, the Rangers didn't win. We talked about this in the intro with the Mets. You don't win, okay? But the season itself was unbelievable. I mean, they were first pretty much from the beginning to the end. They just ran through it. They had different guys contributing all year. Quick, Shesterkin in net, right? I mean, guys were up and down all year except Panarin was consistent. And they pulled out a President's Trophy and they hung a banner that says they won the regular season. You
talk about a comeback season after losing to the Devils in the first round. They came back and they won the whole league. That's a good showing.
Yeah, and they've been the Rangers, I'll give them credit, I know it's early in the year, but they did that last year. And now this year they come in, a lot of question marks, pretty much the same group, right? And everyone's ragging on them. Can they get it done in the playoffs? They know that's hanging in the back of everybody's mind. We keep talking about it, and everybody is. And they start the year 4-0-1 with 24 goals in 5 games. I mean, they're ready. They're ready to take it to another level. At least they're showing they are. Will they get it done? Who knows? But they're answering.
Most people are showing it.
Yeah, for the most part, right? Let's talk about someone who might not be. Mika Zibanejad. Zibanejad's up to 5 points. 5 points in 5 games. Point per game pace.
Which is phenomenal on paper.
All in 2 games, right? So 3 games without a point, 2 games with the 5. And 2 of those 5 points on empty net goals, a goal and an assist. So 40% is his current pace. He's on pace for 40% of his points to be on empty netters. I know I'm being a little obtuse there. Little Ed, I'm going to toss it to you. He played well in the Toronto game, I thought. He did set up the game-winning goal to Kreider on the power play, but are we seeing enough out of Mika yet? 5 games in, are we going to just keep talking about this every week until he shows something?
I mean, yeah, I think it's a big topic. It's going to continue on into the playoffs. I don't want to say he's playing poorly, like you said. He's playing well. He seems to be doing well, shutting down the other team's lines and stuff. But I don't think that's going to cut it down the stretch and into the playoffs. Like we keep saying it over and over. We look at centers like Barkov and like I don't know, even like Ryan O'Reilly, who shows up in the playoffs for the Blues that year. It's like like these guys, they're able to do it both sides of the puck, and I just don't see it with Zibanejad yet. And I mean, hopefully he's able to do it in a couple months from now. But I mean, it's just that every season he's off to a slow start. I mean, and people, I wonder, like, you always hear comments about him DJing in the offseason and blah, blah, blah. I mean, people aren't saying that for no reason. I mean, there's a lot of players around the league, a lot of analysts around the league that know stuff that we don't know. I mean, I know he's not a social media guy, going to posting all of his workouts on social media, but I don't know. It can't be a coincidence. He always jumps out to a slow start, like always.
Coach, let me ask you a question because I know, Little Ed and I have been really on Zibanejad to start this year. It's 5 games, and we've been pretty harsh on him. And coming into the year, there were a lot of questions. I know I picked him as a bold prediction and whatnot. I try to have faith in the guy. But you've been a pretty staunch supporter, I feel like, defending him in the Utah game. I was all over him, and you were blaming other guys for those goals mostly. Where would you rank him? And you don't have to say between this guy and that guy or anything, but as far as like centers in the league, like, do you think he's like first tier, second tier, third tier? Like, where would you really rank Zibanejad?
As far as what? As far as overall? Obviously, goal scoring, he's not in the top tier.
No, overall.
I mean, I would say he's in the
scoring.
I would
points,
say he's in the
defense.
I would say he's in the bottom of the top tier.
That's pretty high. I mean,
that's my opinion. The guy plays a good game. Kreider thrives because he's there.
Yeah.
Is he putting pucks in the net like we would like? No, but the Rangers are 4-0-1. I know it's no content for the show, but we're complaining, and they're 4-0-1. And I think he's playing good enough for them to be 4-0-1.
Well, for
I
sure.
understand that, but we said that all last year.
He needs to
They're the best team in the league, and we're complaining about Zibanejad.
I thought in the playoffs he was soft as hell, and he pissed me off. If he doesn't perform in the playoffs, like you guys said the first episode, I don't care if he scores 20 goals this season. He's got to perform in the playoffs. He's got to step it up a notch.
I'm on the same page.
We're not winning the cup without him performing in the playoffs.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. If we're not seeing it now, I understand it's early in the season. Guys aren't going to give it their all early in the season every time. But, I mean, there's players on the team that do. I mean, players like Trocheck give it almost 100% every single game for a full 82. I mean, there's players that do it. And I mean, like I said, or like you kind of just said, if he was performing in the playoffs, this wouldn't be a topic. But now, like, we just continue to see it. Did he learn his lesson in the playoffs? No, he comes out in the regular season this year flat.
Well, I mean, you could argue the same thing about Panarin. He's putting up the points in playoffs. He's been invisible for 2 years.
Well, I thought
he didn't come out flat
in the playoffs.
I thought he came out flat this season, I would.
I thought that. Well, he was good last year, except in the Panther series, they figured him out.
They shut him down. Yeah,
they beat him up a little bit, and they figured it out. So that's where Zibanejad. That's why we need him to step up, so they can't just figure one guy out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to win the Stanley Cup without an elite number one center, and Zibanejad is supposed to be that. He's paid to be that for the Rangers. And my concern is not game 4 of the regular season. I agree with you on that. It's the playoffs. But my concern is, like Little Ed said, just to expand it, if he's not doing it in the regular season, it doesn't have to be now, but come December or January, I need to see him getting to the middle of the ice and scoring goals. Like I get it, he shuts down opponents, but he's got to get to the middle of the ice and score goals. And he's got to do that in the season so that when the playoffs come around, he has those habits. He's not going to just float through the regular season, have a good, point per game year, blah, 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 with 40, 50% of his points on the power play, and then walk into the postseason and start getting gritty. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. And it's also plays like he's supposed to be like a power play specialist and stuff. Like I know that clip that you sent us of Sean Avery. I know Avery's very hard on pretty much everybody, but like the guy, Zibanejad had the puck in the corner on the power play, and he just let the guy take it from him and clear it, and didn't even like try to get it back or anything. He just like, I don't know, he just looks lifeless sometimes, and that just personally drives me a little crazy. I know he does his job defensively. I know he's got a ton of assists. I know he's great on the power play with Kreider and great on the penalty kill. Listen, he's a great hockey player, but it's not going to get it done in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like that's it.
Right. And as good as Trocheck is,
I kind of remember when
he's
Quinn
not
was
number
the
one.
coach. I kind of remember when Quinn was the coach and they weren't doing well. And he was like yelling at Zibanejad and Kreider. And I remember seeing him on the bench, and he was just like, his face was like, I don't even want to hear this. I think Quinn probably had that same feeling that he's got to dig in a little bit. I know not a fan of Quinn's, but Quinn is a tough-nosed kind of coach and was as a player from what I've seen. And he was probably pissed off about it. And it was a matter of, are you going to get rid of Zibanejad at that time? Can you get rid of him, or are you going to get rid of the coach? And I'm not saying he did a Messi and say get rid of Quinn, but I'm saying that's the choice of management. If the players aren't responding, certain players, you can't get rid of Zibanejad and Panarin.
Yeah, I mean, either way, Quinn was a stepping stone.
Just like yelling in his ear, and Zibanejad was just like staring at the ice, not even yelling back. I want to see him yell back at the coach. Like I said that in our game, we had a player in our game Saturday night. I was pissed off because it was a game we should have won, and they come back to the bench, and I'm barking, and he turns around and he gave me a little lip back. So he comes to the game Saturday night and he's like, Coach, I want to apologize. You don't have to apologize. You had a feeling. I had a feeling in the heat of the moment. It's nothing against you. I want to make you a better player. You had an opinion, and we move on till tonight. If you're a coach, a good coach, you think Berube doesn't want to hear Austin Matthews getting pissed off and getting, down and dirty? He wants to light that fire in him, And I think Zibanejad just kind of shuts it out. He doesn't. I don't know if he has it. He may not have it. We don't.
Yeah,
he's never shown it on any other team on Ottawa.
The word I would use for Zibanejad is like gentle, right? If you don't want to call him soft or whatever, right? He's gentle.
And soft.
he's just out there, and
let's put it this way.
He misses the net. He pulls out the iPad. He looks at the iPad. He shakes his head. He puts it down. He goes back out there. When he forechecks, he just swings his stick left and right like this. It drives me insane. I'm like, go attack the puck.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Sound.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the skybox at the Taylor Swift concert.
Well, listen, Taylor Swift's very popular. That was one of the loudest events I've ever been at. But if you go back and look at 26-year-old Mika Zibanejad, 2019-20, when he had 41 goals in 57 games, that is not the player that he is today. It's just not. And look, I get it. It's 5 years ago. Players change over time. They develop. But at some point, we got this guy for 8 more years.
Was that under a Vigneault?
1920. Vigneault was the 13. He was the
no. Yeah, no Quinn had him. Quinn had him during COVID and right before COVID, 1920.
That was Quinn. Yeah, that was Quinn. So it's just not the same player. It's not even the points. It's the style. I remember if you go back and listen to our episodes, Coach, from that time, we were raving about this guy. Every episode was like, we have a true number one center. He's dynamic. He's speed. He's on the forecheck, his back check. This is not that player. Look, he's good, but it's not that player. And I think that creates a lot of disappointment in people. Generally, the appearance of we know who he was and we know what he is now, and we kind of have to accept that this is who he is now. And my thing is, I just don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough for the Rangers to win the cup. But we'll keep monitoring it. We'll try not to make it an every week conversation because it's going to get old quick. But so far, in my opinion, point per game, but not so good for Mika Zibanejad. Need more of him in the middle of the ice. Middle of the ice. I see Panarin going to the middle. Again, he did it last year too. And I know in the playoffs it was hard, but he's at least doing it in the regular season. We'll see.
Let's give him another 5 games to see how he does with Riley Smith.
I think quarter of the season is a good mark, right? Like 20 games. I think that's like the mark where you kind of know what you're getting. But yeah, 5-10 games.
On that note, if Riley Smith is going to be that forechecker, then maybe Zibanejad just doesn't have to.
That's what I'm saying. Let's give this line time to gel. I think Kreider, I said it last week, was I like the way he's playing, a little more physical. I think he's being a little smarter with it. And let's see how it works. Let's give him a few games, like you said.
It's Kreider
20, and let's reevaluate. You can keep him in the doghouse if you want, but
is Kreider going to score 82 goals with 0 assists this year?
Stop with these advanced stats. That's so stupid.
Advanced stats. He's
on pace to score. That's like there's no probability in that whatsoever.
I know it's a joke, but that's not an advanced stat. If that's what
whatever
it is, think that's an advanced stat, coach.
Stop with these proposed projected stats.
Speaking of projected stats, we talked about last week the Cooley, Hedl, and Kakko line, and their expected goal share was 84%. All right, in these 2 games, I wanted to talk about Kakko, because last year.
Wait. First, explain that stat.
What stat? Expected goals?
The goal share.
Yeah. So it's expected goals. So while your team is on the ice, your line versus the opponent, whatever opponent line is out there, which line is expected to score more goals based on puck possession, quality of scoring chances, etc. So it just shows who's dominating the play, not so much who's scoring more goals, but who's dominating the play. And the expected goals are determined based on where the shots are taken. What kind of passes are made? Are they Royal Road passes? Are they shots from the slot? Are they one-timers? Are they cycle plays? How long does your team have the puck, right? How many completed passes do you have? What are your zone exits and zone entries? It's based on all that information while your line is on the ice. So while the Cooley, Hedl, Kakko line is on the ice, their line has the expected goal share of 84% to 16 against. That means that they're dominating the play.
I want to know what their actual goals are. I don't need to know the expected.
No, but coach, when you look at the expected, you have to look at it for what it is. It's a tool, right? Because a lot of times in sports, and you know this. Right? Yeah, you know this, coach. Think about baseball, right? We were talking about baseball, right? A guy comes to the plate, and his last 100 at-bats, he's batting 200, right? But when you actually look deeper, you see that he's hit 10 line drives right at the third baseman that didn't fall in a hole and get through the infield, right? Or I don't know, it was something like that, right? So the odds are that's going to change in the next 100 at bats based on the quality of the speed of the ball coming off the bat, things like that. So you can project future performance based on the quality of play of the person without just looking at raw stats, because a lot of sports is randomness, right? So it's all random, dude. That's why
I don't want that expected 84%. I want to know offensive zone time, scoring chances. That's all you need to know.
But I don't need to know
based on who they're. Tell me how many.
It's just combining that information into one.
All right,
stat.
so then why? Just give me Just say it's offensive. They never said that last year during the playoffs. They said the Panthers had the puck in the offensive zone, whatever number it was. It was ridiculous.
Puck possession. Yeah, puck.
They didn't say it was their expected goal. That's it's not a goal. I don't care what the expected goal is.
If Mike
All right, well, you
Kelly
can
isn't
tell-
afraid to coach, we got to get him back on.
Yeah, we got to get Mike Kelly to come back on and teach you about expected goals. But anyway, Capo Caco, we were talking about him. So last year, Coach, one of our biggest complaints was
I
Capo
guarantee you,
Caco-
Tortorella's going, what the hell is expected goal?
Oh, for sure. Anyway, off the expected goals, Capo Caco last year, we talked about the regular stats, not the analytics. 0 goals, 0 assists, +0, 0 PIMs, 0 hits, 0 blocks. How many times did we talk about just zeros in the box score for Capo Caco?
Right.
And it shows that he is not engaged, right? And that was a concern we had. He had 8 penalty minutes in 2 games, Coach. Last year for the entire season, he had 24 penalty minutes. So, I mean, I just thought about it because at first I was like, God, another penalty. Is that a good sign? That
What kind of penalties
Capo
are
is,
they?
well, I mean, there was a stick penalty, a kind of an unlucky penalty. I don't remember each penalty what they were, but I'm sure we could just look that
Well,
up.
that does mean something.
Well, regardless, the fact that
Is it a
he's
lazy
taking
penalty
penalties-
or is it a
Right.
Yeah, the reason I ask, I mean, one of our players got a not a malicious hit from behind the other night, but they have to call it in our league, and he came back pretty upset because I think the team ended up scoring a goal on the power play, so he was a little down on himself. And coach and I both said to him, like, listen, like if you got a stick penalty, it's one thing, that's a lazy penalty, but he's doing his job. He's a third, fourth line player. We expect him to be hitting and throwing his body around a little bit, and he caught the kid in the numbers. It happens.
Without knowing the circumstances of each penalty, holding penalty, tripping, interference with the goaltender, and high sticking.
Well, I'll
Not
give you.
great.
I don't mind the interference with the goal. I don't mind the interference with the goaltending, but I don't need to see those other ones.
Yeah, holding's a little bit of a lazy one, I'd say, unless like they got tangled up in the corner and the referee just made a judgment call. That's different
Unless
on a
it
forecheck or
prevented a
something
goal,
like that.
say.
If it
Yeah,
makes
we'd
you
have
feel
to-
better, the high sticking was against Max Domi. So, I mean, that's always a fair penalty. Like, it's always okay if you do that to Max Domi, right? Look, I get your point. For me, though, I'm just happy that he seems engaged. I watched the games and I didn't feel like he was being lazy. But I get your point. I don't remember like analyzing if it was a lazy penalty or not, and I don't remember the circumstances of each penalty. So it's a good point.
I want to see more of him playing with his strengths and controlling the puck down low, like that play he had on the one Mancini goal, where I said great play by Kaku in the chat. He boxed out the guy in the corner. Something that Zibanejad hasn't been doing great at recently. I was saying that to coach before. It's like plays like that. That's where the Ranger fans have to accept the type of player that he is. Like he's able to control the puck behind the net, and now he's got to learn when the right time is to cough it up. Which this year, I like watching him play for the most part. I know it's obviously not the player we expected in the draft, but I like his style of play. If he keeps building on this style of play, the points will come. And I know he was drafted before Laffy was, but the fans were on Laffy for all the same things, and now all of a sudden he's lighting it up. And I think we should expect Kakko to be more of an assist guy, more of a playmaker. I don't think he's going to get the goals, whereas Laffy's going to be scoring with Panarin and Trocheck and also getting some assists and being a playmaker as well. I mean, Laffy's just more of a complete player. There's no secret there. And we just got to take Kakko for what he's worth.
Yeah, I think Kakko is kind of the anti-Laffy in the sense that I think Laffy can still work on his defensive game. I don't think he's bad defensively or anything. I think he spent, a lot of years needing to show that he was capable defensively to get ice time, so he's developed it. But I think Kakko is like borderline elite defensively. His positioning is perfect. He knows exactly where to be at all times. His back checking, his stick work is elite. But he's just like a zero offensively. He does not. He has like no finishing touch, ironically, and power forwards develop later. So he might do it with another team. I hope the Rangers stick with him and let him work through it, and he develops because I like the kid. But sometimes it doesn't work.
I mean, let's face it. How's he going to be on the team if you got Hoffman coming up or Rod? There's no room.
It's not.
Somebody's
Well,
gonna be
Othman and
gone.
Berard haven't established themselves as NHL players, so there's room for
Well,
they
to
need
me,
to
either
make
as
room.
either as Kako, so you want to give another guy a chance next year.
Well, Kako's a legitimate third line NHL player. I mean, without
All
question,
right,
he's a
well, but he
legitimate
hasn't
NHL player.
performed in the last 2 years,
All right.
including this year. I don't care about expected goal.
Coach,
What's Othman's
How come
expected goals?
Zibanejad's
Coach,
allowed to play good defensively and all that and not put pucks in the net, but Kako is putting up unreal defensive numbers and
Yeah.
fans complain about him?
Yeah, he's an elite defensive player. He's a coach head type guy. You should love that. He's literally always in the right position.
Our 1C can't hit the
Never
net on the
once.
power play, but that's okay.
Yeah,
But Capo Kako on the third line right winger,
the 23-year-old number 2 draft pick
or left
for the
winger,
Rangers.
whatever.
We can't let him develop.
Yeah, we can't let him develop a little slower than
I'm not
expected.
saying don't let him develop. All I'm saying is somebody's going to have to go if these other guys are going to make the roster in the next year or two. That's not a secret.
No, I agree with that point for sure. That's granted Othman, because everyone's talking high about Othman. We have a Rangers chat with a bunch of our friends. Me and Cousin Ed want to go crazy. We got guys want to bring Gabe Perreault and Othman into the NHL right now. They're clearly not ready.
No,
Yeah.
And we don't even know if they could be. I'm not saying you. We're talking about every Ranger fan on social media and group chats. And it's like these guys, let them – the Rangers are the best team in the league right now, or one of the best teams in the league. We don't need to rush Gabe Perreault out of Boston College.
Right.
To try and it's whatever.
It's shiny new toy syndrome. That's all it is. We got Capo Kako. He has no weaknesses. He's going to be an all-star.
It's similar. It's similar to
5 years later. Kako sucks. Let's bring Gabe Perreault in. Oh, Perreault's struggling. Cut him. Send him to Hartford. Like shiny new toy. Next prospect. Like not everybody.
It's similar to like
when
Cousin Ed was sending us videos of Kratzov in the KHL. It just doesn't correlate.
Right. It's true. It's true. Kraftsoff didn't correlate to the NHL. I mean, you get excited about that kind of talent, but it's got to correlate to the NHL style of play, and you got to be patient with young players. Kako is still a very, very, very young player. I mean, Kako has been in the league for 5 or 6 years, and he's, I think, the age that Adam Fox was as a rookie. So like, let's put this in perspective, like he's still a very, very young player and he's a power forward. They take a long time to really figure it out. And he hasn't figured it out yet.
What's his name? Quinn Byfield, number 2 overall pick behind Laffy. Where did he spend most of his time the last couple of years?
Right. He just figured it out last year, 50 points for him, right?
And he played in the AHL. He played in the AHL for most of his rookie year and some of his sophomore year, I believe.
Yeah. Up and down. He went up and down.
So the Rangers didn't have. I think they made that mistake with both Laffy. They, like in the media, the Rangers, they can't put their top picks in the AHL. They just, number 1, number 2 pick, they would have got eaten alive in the media. I think they made a mistake with that in that regard. Kako would have dominated Hartford, gained a ton of confidence, and would have been ready.
That would have been good for sure. Speaking of young guys, coming into the NHL. Good transitions.
A lot of good transitions. That's 3 in a row.
Yeah, nice. Let's talk about Victor Mancini. What a story this kid has been. Coming in his first pro, I guess really full pro season, and he makes the team out the gate. I saw a story in The Athletic on what his journey was like to get to the NHL. Did you guys see that? I don't know. If
I saw the headline, but I didn't read the article.
Yeah, so he had quite a journey. I mean, in college, at one point, he almost quit and joined the baseball team because his friends were playing baseball. He almost quit playing hockey. He didn't get drafted his first 2 years. He was eligible to be drafted. He went to Sweden, played in Sweden, and the Rangers drafted him in the 5th round, and he wasn't even expecting to get picked because he just went 2 seasons without even getting drafted. And it's just a story of commitment by a young man, from age 14 until the point that he was drafted. He wanted to play in the NHL, and he tried everything he could to earn, the honor to be drafted into the league. And it's really a story in reading it. I was like, man, I should have worked harder as a kid, right? Because it's that kind of a story. It's not like a Jack Hughes where it's like from the age of 5, you're like, oh, this guy's going to the NHL. He's so good, let's put him on the path. It's just a regular kid playing hockey who really earned it. Kind of reminded me of the Matt Gilroy story, right?
Yeah.
That how he got to the NHL. But anyway, just wanted your thoughts on that, Coach.
It also helps that he's 6'5" or whatever he is.
Well, yeah, but just wanted your thoughts on that, Coach, because
was he going to play for the Mets or the Yankees? Because that's important.
that kind of experience that he went through, the character building that he had to go through to get to the point of being drafted, isn't that something that can really like set a player apart once you get to that level? Like once you get to the NHL, everybody's really good. And then when you have somebody with that kind of a character, it really just separates them a little bit from other guys, right?
Well, I would think, he thought about quitting. He didn't. He pushed it. He went to Sweden to play. I mean, that's no easy test too, although Sweden's probably beautiful to go to. But it's still going to a foreign country without your family and whatever the situation is. And, just getting drafted and going to a training camp is a high pressure situation, especially in New York with the media and the scrutiny. And the kid showing, I mean, I would like to think that that's part of the, give kudos to the Rangers coaching staff that they had to see something in that kid to take a chance on it, even though it was a 5th round chance. It was still a chance,
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody had to have a conversation along the way with him and made a phone call and said, I like this kid. He's got something in him.
Yeah. Yeah. And Little Ed, his game, I thought he's been awesome, since game 1 of the season. He hasn't looked out of place at all.
No, he stepped right in. He's contributing on the score sheet. He's contributing off the score sheet. I mean, he's noticeable out there. He's not like usually when we say like the new guys, like they're solid. They're not making any mistakes. They're not doing anything good. They're not really noticeable. They're just solid, kind of like Schneider was when he first came in. But this guy is making an impact. He's noticeable, and you tell it's going to be a tough decision to give up that spot, or just to or whatever, send him down, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Before you get to
Coach,
that again,
we almost had a good transition, but you ruined it.
We're almost 4
you had
row.
3 already, so you're 3 for 4. Your expected transitions percentage is 75%.
No, it's 100. My expected is 100, but my actual is 75.
The key, which I love about Schneider, is the way they play without the puck. When you see Mancini's partner with the puck, he's getting in the right position to receive a pass. He's supporting his line mates. He's supporting the play. He's making the right dump-ins. He's making a lot of good decisions where at the NHL level for a kid like that, it's very tough, and he's making those right decisions. The way I didn't get to see the Toronto game entirely, but what I did see, I saw a lot of good things. I love the way he plays.
Yeah, he plays the man. He's really playing well. But let's talk about what's going to happen here with this defense group. We got Ryan Lindgren coming back from injury. We got Zach Jones, Victor Mancini, Ryan Lindgren, and obviously Trouba, Miller, Fox. So 7 defensemen possibly in, and obviously, Laviolette played Ruedel last game and scratched Jones, get him a game. So he's another guy, add him into the mix. Put up the tweet from our friend Statboy Steven on X. If you guys follow him, check him out at @Statboy_Steven. He's always got good tidbits. Free ad for him. What should Drury do when Lindgren is back? Gives 4 options. Send down Mancini, scratch Lindgren, scratch Jones, and scratch Trouba. Right? 1,422 votes on this poll. 36% of people said scratch Trouba. 23% said scratch Lindgren. So that, Coach, that's almost 59% of people voting on this poll believe that either Lindgren or Trouba should be scratched out of those defensemen. Am I going crazy here?
I think that's insane. I don't even know what to say about that.
It's the same thing I said before. It's like people are just
36%.
harping on last season. It's like, can we look at the games that are happening right now?
I'd scratch Keandre Miller before I scratch Truba. I mean, come on.
The coach is.
You watch him on the power play. Keandre Miller on the power play, quarterbacking the power play, gives it to the guy on the wall and just stands there.
There's your
My
opener.
My job's done.
There's the opener for the episode.
Doesn't break to the net,
pass.
doesn't do anything. Give me a break.
All right, forget scratch Keandre Miller. That's stupid also.
It's not an
But,
option.
like,
Option C. Option E.
yeah, but I just can't believe when you see these four options, you look at it and you say, okay, Jones playing well, trying to establish himself in the NHL. Last year, he was the 7th D, right? Scratch Jones seems like a reasonable possibility. Send down Mancini. He's waiver exempt. He's got 5 NHL games under his belt. He's playing great. It's early in the season. He can go down to Hartford for 20 games and come right back to the NHL. Easy solution to the problem, right? Most obvious answer. And then instead, almost 60% want to scratch Lindgren and Trouba, who make a combined $12.5 million this year, by the way. They're not going to be scratched. Lindgren's been on the first D pair for the Rangers since, like, I don't even know how long.
Yeah,
5,
have people
6
already
years?
have people already forgotten about the Fox Lindgren pairing, or what's that situation?
Well, Lindgren in practice is on the 3rd pair with Mancini. They have Schneider and Trouba, Miller and Fox, and Lindgren and Mancini, and then Jones and Ruedel as the 4th. So it looks like Jones might be the scratch.
I think I need some time off from the podcast. I can't handle this.
That's what the lines at practice were, but I'm just really baffled.
That's
that
the sound
fans are saying
clip.
I just don't understand. Scratch Trouba. I'm like baffled by it, Coach. I don't know what to say. I mean, I get
I love Laviolette, but I just don't see the Miller Fox pairing. I'm sorry,
Coach. I get it.
I don't understand
Miller,
how you can even say scratch Trouba. It's not like he's a liability. They're 4-0-1.
Well,
They're
someone's got to draw.
What do they
somebody
say?
has to
It's
draw
Trouba's
out.
fault?
No,
What?
somebody has to draw out for Lindgren to draw in, right? So they could be 4-0-1.
I understand that.
So
If we're removing
that's the point.
salary cap from the if we're removing salary cap from the situation and how much they make and all that stuff, I would say my gut feeling would say don't fix the unbroken right now. Let it ride. Someone's bound to get, knock on wood, bound to get banged up a little bit, or you do what they're doing with the forwards. You play, depends on the opponent. You know, it's so. I mean, but I know that's
How
not
many more games is
that's not
Lindgren out
realistic
for?
because of the whole waiver situation and stuff. Because
He's
we also
coming
have
back soon.
Ruedel. We also have Ruedel as the 7th D. How come that's
He's
not an
prac-
option?
He's practicing. Well, they could send Ruedel down, but if they do that, they have to scratch Jones. You can only play 6D, right? So
I understand that, but well,
If
you could dress
Lindgren
a
goes
7D
in-
technically.
well, if you got Miller, Fox, and Schneider in, okay, and Trouba, right, should be automatic or whatever. Then
I
you
got a
have
solution. Go ahead, keep going.
Lindgren coming in. That's 5D. So you got one spot for Fox, for Jones and Mancini.
Coach
That's
Ed's
the
gonna
reality.
like this one. I got Fox and Lindgren, Trouba and Schneider, Mancini and Jones, and then Miller is the 7th D on the bench, but he also plays wing.
He takes Rempe's
I almost
Yeah.
don't hate that. I almost don't hate that.
I knew
Put him
you were
forward.
gonna say, I knew it.
Put him in forward.
Test him out on Mika's right wing and see how he does.
Yeah, there you go.
I know you guys are down on Miller. I'm not really. I don't think he's playing that badly right now. But anyway,
Look,
so
I say it every
Certain
week.
things that none of
I
them
don't
are
think
playing
he's
bad.
playing
It's
that
just certain
badly.
Things, yeah.
I just feel that for his talent, it's time.
yeah, he's underperforming.
Now he's playing with
for
Fox
his
on the
talent.
first pair. Give me the positives.
Yep,
Is he putting up points?
I'll send you their expected goal share when they're.
I don't want to know that. I want to know how many points he has.
Let me look it up real quick.
How many points does he have?
2 points, right? Goal and assist, I think.
Yeah, and the
Oh, yeah.
goal was on a dump in. So give me a break. That's as bad
Yeah.
as Mika's empty netter.
That's a knock hockey goal.
Yeah,
Literally
exactly.
a knock hockey goal. Anyway, so for me, the
K-Miska
solution.
92 on Instagram said the positives are that they are 4-0-1, coach.
Yeah, there you go, coach. Exactly.
Which is what you just said a few minutes ago. So
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Great answer. I like the Miller Fox pair. I mean, this is me. So I think
It's not just you. It's a lot of fans, and it's Laviolette and Phil Housley. So I guess I got to trust them.
I think the easy solution is when Lindgren is able to draw in, you send Mancini to Hartford. You play him first pair, first power play, first PK, 20 minutes a game. You let him kill it in Hartford. You put Lindgren, however they do the D pairs is fine, but you got 3 lefty and 3 righty, figure it out. And then at some point, Mancini will be back, and he will be in the Rangers lineup in the playoffs, period. It'll happen. In some way, somehow, Mancini will be back in the lineup. Just because they sent him down doesn't mean they're done with him. Fans got to understand that. It's the easiest solution. You need depth. It's an 82-game season. You got to win 16 playoff games. You can't waive Jones, waive Ruedel. Why would you do that? You're risking losing these guys. They're valuable players. Send Mancini to Hartford. Let these guys handle it. They'll be 8-0-1 with Trouba in. You don't have to scratch Trouba. It's crazy. Scratch Trouba. Fans are crazy. They're crazy. Scratch Trouba for Lindgren. That's crazy.
yeah,
I don't know.
Trouba's looking good this year. I don't care what anybody says.
Even if he wasn't, that's crazy. It's just dumb. It's just fans being like emotional sitting there. I just had to, when I saw that, I knew I had to clip it for you guys.
It's reading the headlines. It's getting it's like just going with the masses, whatever you want to call it. It's like,
can I just ask the reasoning? Look, I don't dislike Zach Jones. I think he's playing a lot better preseason. I like the way he was playing. But you're going to scratch Trouba to put Zach Jones in the lineup?
Me?
No, I'm saying in general.
Oh, the fans are saying that, yeah.
They're going to scratch Trouba and put Zach Jones in the lineup and scratch Trouba.
Coach,
take size out of the lineup.
36%
the only guy
of the
hitting.
fans
Now the only guy hitting is Mancini and Schneider.
Yep. Look, I don't.
You want to play
it.
Nathan McKinnon without Trouba, without the danger of Trouba hitting him coming through the middle or something? That's giving a guy like McKinnon, Crosby, it's giving him like free reign. They know they're going in on Keandre. He's not touching him. Fox isn't touching him. You saw Austin Matthews get the goal. Fox couldn't even stop him.
Dude,
you guys got to watch the Face Off show on Amazon. Fans, everybody, they talk about it. And they talk about it. I'm pretty sure it was the Trouba episode where they say, I think someone else says it about Trouba or about just enforcers or players like that in general, where it's you just have it in the back of your mind that someone out there is trying to kill you. Lack of a better word.
Look, I talked about this a couple of times. I think the guy Boris used to coach Eddie, was involved with the Arrows, played on the Russian Red Army team, the most elite team in the world at the time. And I said, how did you not make the NHL? And he said when he got to the corners, he couldn't do it anymore in the NHL. This is a guy that had legs like tree trunks, phenomenal sight, hockey IQ, skill, didn't want to go in the corners. So that's the answer right there. In the NHL, you have to be able to take that hit, and you have to be able to give that fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't I don't know. I feel like I came into this episode with a lot of things to say about this, but now that we're actually recording, I'm just still so baffled that 36% of the fans think the answer is to scratch Trouba. And look, I don't think Trouba is this amazing defenseman or anything, but he is a unicorn on this team. The Rangers
He's
do
the
not
captain.
Have a defenseman.
He's their
They don't
captain.
have a defenseman. Yeah, well, some captains can be bad. That's not necessarily,
but not scratched.
Right, but that's not necessarily to me the end all be all. I hear you, but it's more He's a unicorn on this team. He's big. He hits. He blocks shots. I guarantee you, he's leading the team in block shots. Yeah, PK, right? He's not taking stupid penalties this year. Like, let's let this guy have a chance to rebound from last season before we scratch him for a rookie who's got 5 games under his belt, and a guy who was scratched in and out of the lineup all year last year. But there were fans last year saying Jones should have been in for Trouba in the playoffs and stuff. They were saying Jones should have been in. So, I mean, this fan base is ready to move on from Jacob Trouba. It's pretty evident. But anyway, let's get off Jacob Trouba. It's just crazy, guys. Like, use your heads. Come on. When you vote in these polls, use your heads. But quickly, before we get into the goalies, I just want to give a shout out to Panarin and Laffy. Beginning of the year, 5-game point streaks, both of them. The Rangers are second in the league in goals for with 24, and tied with Winnipeg for the most goals per game, 4.8 right now. So Rangers are really connecting, and a big part of that is Laffy, Panarin, Trocheck, obviously too, but he doesn't have the streak. He's killing it as well. That line just red hot coming into the year from last year. So, boys, let's talk goalies. Shesterkin and Quick, we had 2 games. They each had a game. They both were amazing. I mean, Quick against Detroit was outstanding, I thought. I thought he was awesome, and I was a little concerned that he might dip from last year due to his age, but he looks like he's ready to pick up where he left off as well. So my question to you guys, and then obviously Igor's Igor, with Ullmark now in Ottawa, no longer a Bruin, is Quick and Igor the best goalie tandem in the NHL? I mean, is there a better tandem in the league right now? Not potentially, or just right now, starting 2 games in a week like this.
We don't want to go expected tandems.
Well, I mean, some fans will bring up some 24-year-old goalie who in 2030 is going to be an all-star. I'm talking right now. You need 2 games this week. You go Quick, Igor. Is there a better option in the NHL?
I can't think of one. No.
I mean, I think it definitely has to be in the conversation. I mean, I don't follow every team that closely, but even that kid who was shining for Vancouver in the playoffs, he's struggling. There's a lot of guys who are struggling as their second goalie or in the tandem. So I would say Quick is the 2 guys. It's right now the way Igor's playing. I would say they're the best tandem.
Quick's going for 600 wins, right?
Goalie on Minnesota,
Gustafson.
Yeah, that's a pretty good tandem.
Fleury and Gustafson.
But Gustafson, I would say Fleury, obviously multiple Stanley Cup winner, Hall of Famer. I would say I would put him on the par with Quick, but I don't know about Gustafson and Igor. Igor's ahead of him. So
no way.
Right.
I'd have to give it to the Rangers.
Well, Minnesota also has Jesper Wallstedt in the minors, who's probably the best goalie prospect in the league too. So they're just rich in goal right now. But we're not going to include him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I took a peek at the goalies because I knew I was going to bring this topic up, and I don't know. I'm interested to hear what our listeners think if they can name a better tandem league wide. But I don't know. I mean, if I had to win 2 games, I think Igor's the best goalie in the league. Him and Hellebuck are neck and neck. And then Quick is up there, top 5 backup probably in the NHL. So it's kind of hard.
The only thing that scares me is, like, you watch the Leafs game. Yeah, they beat him, say 2-1. They didn't beat him 4-1.
Right.
You're letting up 35 shots in a 7-game series. You're not going to sustain that like they didn't against Florida. Even though they have this tandem, they got to tighten up defensively over the course of the season as a team.
Yeah, and Toronto pushed.
Not Jacob Trouba. As a team, they're letting up. They let up a lot of shots last year in a lot of games too, and that doesn't bode well in a 7-game series.
Coach, not only that, 35 shots, but the Rangers blocked 22 also. So that's 57 shot attempts, and I think Toronto had over 70 shot attempts in that game because that includes shots that go wide.
Well, the blocks are part of that defensive thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But they have to. It's more like keeping pucks to the outside, stick position, yada yada. So again, there's a lot of those hidden stats that you don't really see. that would go by the eye test with the shots from the perimeter. But
Did you see Anthony Stolar's, Toronto's goalie's comment after the game about Igor?
no, what'd he say?
He said there's a reason it's clear why he's going to be the highest paid goalie in those leagues. So, I mean, everybody
keep
keeps
coming up
saying
with these comments, huh?
He's playing outstanding. I mean, that was an unbelievable performance by Igor. Number one star of the game, and validly, he was awesome. He won that game for the Rangers for sure. But he's part of the team. I always say that to people. They're like, "Oh, you can't sustain it," but he's part of the goalie. Is part of the team. You win games because you have a good goalie. You win games because you have a good power play. You win games because you score 5-on-5. You have to do it in all different ways. You can't just be one dimensional. So, all right. Well, I got nothing else to say on that, boys. If you can't think of a better goalie tandem, I'll stick with it. So let's go from here to our stars of the week. I just love the Coach Ed grilling with the hot dog. It's hilarious. It's really it's awesome. Anyway, all right. Offensive player of the week. I went Artemi Panarin. Just again, I mean, I'm gonna pick him until he cools off. The guy at 5
until
points
further notice.
5 points in 2 games. So, Little Ed, same.
Yep.
Coach.
Yeah, just that hat trick alone was crazy.
Yeah, nice Hattie in there as well.
Bang, bang, bang. He's again firing on all cylinders.
Defensive player of the
goals,
week.
he's putting up assists too. So.
Little Ed, defensive.
This week I went with Foxy. I mean, I feel like I don't really pick him for this award very often because I look at more of like the defensive side of the puck for this award. But I think he deserves some recognition. Bounced back after a tough injury last year. He looks healthy. He looks back to his cerebral self, just making players look foolish with his little head fakes and stuff like that. He's playing great defense, and he's anchoring down Keandre while doing it too. So go Foxy.
Nice. I went with Coach's boy Schneids. I wanted to give him a little love. He wasn't a main topic in the episode, but Coach mentioned it earlier, is play without the puck. You said that last week, and I really took a look at it. It goes unnoticed unless you're actually like watching for it, So fans, when you're watching games, definitely look at guys without the puck. It's a fun experience because things are going on, but you're just following one guy. So you might be a little like confused, but just watch what Schneider does. And you're right, Coach. He's always in position. And also, he's playing his offside. He's not used to playing lefty, and it's like he's a soldier. It's like, I need you here. You're going to be I'll do it, hand up, does it. Does it well.
I'm not going to spoil it, but you got to watch the Amazon Prime show. He's hilarious in the Truva episode.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
He's a funny guy. I know I keep bringing it up. I'm going to keep bringing it up because they did a phenomenal job on the show. But he had a great quote in the episode.
Don't spoil it. Coach, who you got?
I'm going to go with Mancini for the same reasons, and he added a couple of points.
Yeah, Mancini was good. He was their first NHL goal for Mancini, by the way. So let's give him some love there, Coach. I like the pick. All right, key contributor. I love that we're leaving the graphic up for this whole segment. Key contributor award. I went with Vinny Trocheck. I think this award is made for him. So, no, you could have left it up, Mike. I loved it. It was hilarious. So I went with Trocheck. To me, he epitomizes this award. Enough said, just awesome performance from him. Little Ed, who you got?
I went with Quickie. Outstanding performance against Detroit. He made a lot of key saves in the first period, second period, before the Rangers really took over the game. I think the game could have went differently if some of those bounces went in early on. And, he came in for his first start of the season, and he's chasing those 600 wins.
Yep. Good pick. Coach?
I'm going with Troche as well. I mean, you can't say anything else but him. It's tough.
Yeah, I was between Quick and Trocheck. I like picking Quick when he comes in and wins as a backup. I always think that's such a lift for the team when the backup gets a win.
It gives the team confidence because they know they can play the same way in front of both goalies.
Right. We saw with Georgiev what a nightmare it is to have a bad backup. So it's just
And that's gotta be one of the
Miska
hardest
said that in
things.
the chat.
yeah.
What'd he say?
He said, well, I think while we were saying, like, you win games with good goaltending, you win games with good power play, he said, and you lose games because you have Georgiev.
It's 100% right. 100% right. He's been terrible this year, right?
Unbelievable.
I mean, the thing.
I hate to root against somebody, but like he had such a bad attitude with Shesterkin and stuff that it's just like, you know what? You kind of deserve it in a way.
I don't root against him, but I just go good. I was right.
Yeah.
I like being right. So,
Coach, what were you gonna say?
I like the fact that I think being a backup goalie is one of the hardest jobs in sports.
it's like
Probably
a pinch
close to
hitter.
being backup, probably backup quarterback, backup goalie. Because
Pinch
backup
hitter in
quarterback,
baseball,
you're not getting
it's tough.
first unit reps. Same thing with goaltending. You're not getting that look. You're not getting looks. Eagles
Coach.
playing 8 out of 10 games, and you're in a rhythm, and you just got to come in cold and face NHL pressure in a game. That's freaking tough.
I got to say, I think it's pinch hitter in baseball, not backup goalie or backup quarterback. Because in baseball, number one, it's already the hardest thing to do is hit a ball. It's already the hardest thing to do. But now you're sitting there for 7-8 innings, chewing bubble gum and sunflower seeds, and just sitting there like doing nothing. And then they're like, grab a bat, like you're going at least like
bases are loaded. You're up.
yeah. It's like, oh, what? Like,
Right? All right, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
We'll throw it on the list as the top 3. We'll do a hardest position in sports draft in the summer.
Also, Theo says, and one more thing on baseball. Theo says, like, why are baseball players so out of shape? It's cracking up, dude. Anyway, it's so true. Like, Max Muncy's up, and I'm just like, this guy's like a slob, and he's gonna hit like 30 home runs. All right, highlight play of the week, Coach. What do you got for your highlight?
Like I said, I didn't get to see the Red Wings game. I just saw the highlights. I'm going to go with Kreider's empty net goal. The way he's just like he almost doesn't want to put it in.
It's so annoying.
He's like, "Where's the Banajad?"
He just doesn't want to put it in.
Yeah.
He wants to give it to somebody else. I saw when he had it. He looked to pass it. He's like, "Oh, I might as well shoot it."
He always does that.
He doesn't want that
annoying.
empty netter on his stat sheet. But
It's so funny. I went with the Kreider power play goal, the bang, 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 Riley
that was
Smith,
nice.
Mika, back to Kreider backdoor. I thought that was a nice little play.
Wait, who passed it?
It was Riley Smith, right?
I thought you said Mika.
No, it was Riley Smith to Mika to Kreider.
Oh, okay. So Mika.
Yeah. I thought it was a nice play. It was a good read by Mika. Yes, Coach. I picked Mika for the highlight play, and I also picked him for the next award. But we'll get there in a second. Little Ed.
Is that another segue? Is that another transition?
Yeah, but that's a failed one because Little Ed didn't go yet. What's your highlight play?
I'm going with the Shesty glove save. Whether he needed to do the windmill or not, it's still a nasty glove save against Toronto. And he just had an outstanding. Yeah, he had an outstanding. Lundqvist used to do it too. I
know, but he's like
they're showmen.
He's like,
yeah, I know. It's a delayed reaction. Yeah,
so,
but either way, it's a beautiful glove save against a very highly skilled team, and just another one of those where like the game could have gone either way at that point. And we talked about the goalie tandem, so I gave both goalies an award this week. For sure.
All right, I like that. It is time now for Coach Ed's copyright Doghouse, sponsored by Suiter's Sweet Treats. Check them out at Suiter's Sweet Treats, double sweets and gift. Use the discount code EDPOD, get 10% off, plus a free Doghouse cookie. They always do a great job. They've been with us since like the beginning, and they're just awesome. Like forever and ever, right? The cookies
Forever
are
and
so
ever.
good, man.
I got
Yeah.
the free doghouse cookie right here. I'm not
Do
sure.
you
if
keep
this
getting a
one's
new
edible.
one for
No,
the
this is the
episodes,
same
or
one. This is the
It's
same
still
one.
good?
I have it. I have it next to my microphone. It's still sealed. I mean, maybe one of these episodes we'll get a taste test, but I don't know. Suitor, they're not very happy with us when we say that you can eat them later on. They want us to tell the fans to eat them right away.
Well, they should eat them right away.
But no, I mean, I got the free doghouse cookie just to show it off. The artwork is phenomenal. It is vacuum sealed, so I mean, I bet you if I did take a bite out of this, it'd be fine. But no, eat them right away. They're delicious, soft baked, vanilla flavored, most of them. But they have a ton of flavors: chocolate chip. They have some sugar-free options, some keto options, things like that. So pretty much whatever you want, they'll make it.
I didn't
Any
eat dinner.
design,
I'm about to
anything.
break the glass. I'm about to break the glass and have one of them right now.
Yeah,
We
virgin-
gotta get Coach an emergency brick glass cookie thing, cookie hammer.
Yeah. So if
Um,
you're listening on your car, I hope you didn't crash thinking there was a dog in your back seat. But if you're watching on YouTube, check out the Coach Ed's doghouse graphic of Coach Ed grilling up a hot dog at last year's Stadium Series tailgate. And use promo code EDPOD for 10% off and that free doghouse cookie I just talked about.
I love it. All right, so Coach, last week you had Keandre Miller in the doghouse. Is he out, and who is in? Get your doghouse out. Show it to the fans.
He did not. I don't have
Let's
the
put
cards.
Coach on the big screen.
I don't have the card set up.
Never mind. It's an empty doghouse.
Wait, I probably got Keandre in from last year.
You had one job to put a card in the doghouse.
I don't know. Should I start selling the dog houses for our listeners and our fans, or what? There it is.
I think
Keandre.
If you're gonna sell them, you need to take the profits and use it to reinvest in the materials to make me a free one. That's the only
Oh,
rule.
okay.
Keandre is still in the doghouse. He's in the yard. He's not really in the house. Is he in the house?
And
He's
I'm gonna
within
make
the
I'm
fencing.
gonna-
So
I'm going to make you happy.
putting
Mika
Mika in
too?
there also. Yep, fans, like I just said, check it out on YouTube. Coach Ed's got a little doghouse with a nice upper deck cards
The
to put the
roof.
players in the with the roof.
I can't
I
deal
worked-
with the roof. He shingled
Worked
the
really
roof.
hard in the shop on that.
Is that the Shea Stadium sod?
Yeah, I stole it from Coach Ed's house.
He pulled the sod out of the attic for the doghouse. All right. So he's got Miller and Zibanejad in. Miller stays in. He's been in both episodes this year for Coach. Little Ed, last week you also had Keandre Miller in the doghouse. Is he out, and who is in?
I'll take Miller out, and I'm putting Mika in for everything we spoke about before. I just need to see a little bit more effort. That Avery clip really drove me a little crazy. I think I hate that. I yell at our players all the time to be harder on the puck on the power play, and if he's going to be a power play specialist, and that's where he's going to get all of his points, and he's got to put the effort in on the power play.
Yeah, I mean, I had Mika in last week, and he's still in for me, and I didn't put anybody else in. I know he had that nice play in Toronto. He had 2 points in that game. He's got 5 in 5 games. Points aren't really what it's about with Mika. It's more about getting to the middle. If he goes to the middle one time with the puck on his stick and makes a play just one time, I'll take him out of the doghouse. I'll take him out.
And until then,
like when he does that, I will take him out. I have not seen him do
What's considered the middle?
the slot.
the slot
slot.
area. Yeah.
Between the
From the-
circles?
Top of the circle to the bottom of the circle in the middle of the ice and directly from the net out.
What if he
Somewhere in that
works
range.
What if he works the bumper on the power play? Does that count?
No, he has to carry the puck into that area.
Got it.
So he has to
Attack-
take it from
he has
outside
to-
of that area to that area
Into the area.
with the puck on his stick.
He's
Okay.
like the blonde-haired guy in Slapshot.
Oh, geez. All right, so Mika is still in for me. No 150 this week. Mikey 150 is out of the country enjoying life. God, I wish
Well, he's always out of the country. He's out of the continent.
Out of the continent, right?
He's out of Canada and he's enjoying his honeymoon in South America right now.
Yeah.
So
good. No 150 from Mikey. No fantasy update.
I want to hear Mikey's take on the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh no! Don't even tell him. No 150. No fantasy update. So I'll just tell you, I beat Little Ed last week 6-5,
it
despite
was a close match.
Despite Panarin and Malkin scoring like 90 points.
And Kreider. I have Kreider also.
Yeah. I pulled it out. Good match.
Very close. Great match.
That was a fun match. All right. Let's get back on the trivia horse, boys. I think it's time for me to continue my little run here. So we're all zeros this year. Overall, for the podcast history, for the listeners that are new and who care, I have 65 correct points. Coach Ed 46.5, Little Ed 44. So they're a little bit behind me. We need a 20-point question, I think, for Coach to catch up here. But all right. Let's start fresh this year. 0-0-0 across the board.
All right, boys.
What you got for me, Mike?
So, first question is, we're all pretty high on Lafreniere this year, right? I think we can all agree that he's going to have a heck of a season. So my first question for you. Oh, by the way, I tied these both into jerseys. I feel like we should give our guy Oscar a little extra nod for this one, for inspiring this week's trivia. So,
all right.
Back to the trivia question. Who has the most points wearing number 13 for the New York Rangers?
Oof.
Only for the Rangers. No, I mean, like, you could make an argument for guys that full career.
Number 13.
My money's on Coach getting this.
I can't even think of a number 13. I don't even. I can't even.
I mean, you always look up the numbers for the episode. So
that's actually what worried me. You know what? That's why I said it could be really easy for you. It could be really difficult. Again, so
that was like 9 months ago. We did one episode 113.
All right. So what do we do here?
No idea.
Everybody gives me an answer, and then I tell you the correct answer. Is that how it works?
I'm not even gonna guess, honestly.
Yeah, you stumped us, Mikey.
I'm not even gonna guess because I don't know.
All right. So what do you got?
Coach has got an answer.
No.
Mike Rogers.
No, I don't even think Rogers wore 13.
Can you give us multiple choice? Can you give us multiple choice?
Can I give you multiple choice?
Bring up the list of number 13s and give us like two or three.
No, I'm looking at the number 13s right now to give it away.
It's obvious.
Yeah,
I just looked it up too. Is it Sergei Nemchinov? Sergei Nemchinov.
Oh, Nemchinov.
You cheated. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, nobody knew.
It was all right. So the answer was Nemchinov with 225 points in a Ranger uniform. He played 418 games.
K Miska got it. K Miska 92 got it in the Instagram chat.
That's solid. All right. So the breakdown is as follows: Nemchinov, 105 goals, 120 assists for 225 points. Second, Kevin Hayes, 361 games played. 80. I have another interesting kind of fact about that after we get done here, but 87 goals, 129 assists, 216. Number 3, Lafreniere, 303 games, 78 goals, 78 assists for 154 total points. Now, I also
blow that away.
Well, so here's the deal, right? I also went and checked because Hayes and Lafreniere, Hayes has got 361 games, whereas Lafreniere's got 303. I went back and checked their points per game. I did the math. And Lafreniere is actually considerably behind Hayes' career pace. Hayes averaged 0.72 points per game, whereas Laf is 0.51. But there's also an argument to be made about both of their ages because Hayes came in after college. He was older. Lafreniere came in at 19. So I don't know that you can make a fair comparison there. But
Mikey stats over here.
Well, look, if I'm going to give you guys stuff, I want to know what I'm doing.
I love it.
No, he didn't. But he came in from, I think it was Boston College, if I'm not mistaken.
He was a first-round pick, I think.
He was kind of like a Fox deal where he signed afterwards.
I think so, yeah.
I believe he was.
But he was drafted by Chicago, I think, in the first round.
Yeah.
Didn't sign. All right.
So he was a good prospect. He wasn't like a scrub player.
All right. So nobody got that one. Cool. I've got another one that I'll give you a point each for every number you guess right. My question, the bonus question.
Wait, what's going on? You did the trivia already. Now we're doing more.
Well, all right. You don't want to do it. Let's see. Well, let's see if this is a
Let's
good
go.
one for you guys. All right. So in the 98 seasons, the New York Rangers have played hockey. 93 jersey numbers have been used. 9 have been retired. There are 7 numbers that have never been worn by the New York Rangers in a regular season game. Can you give me any of them?
Wow, I like this question. This is a good
85.
question.
Right. That's point
37.
for Cousin. Nope.
37.
Nope. Brashear wore it. I looked that up.
83.
Nope.
Wow.
You got. There's
78. No, 78 is Hoffman. 70.
98 for Coach.
98? Really? Oh, I was going to say Naslin wore 96. Right?
Right.
There's 2 that I think you guys are going to kick yourselves when you don't get it. So give yourself another minute to think before we close it out, and I'll give you the other ones. No.
Well, that's a good guess.
That's another one, Coach.
Coach,
59.
Coach is racking
69?
up the score sheet here.
69 is one of them.
No,
Yes.
damn, I'm getting shut out.
There
here.
are 3 left. Little Ed, I need you to think about this. There is one number.
66.
You screwed him.
66?
Yeah, nobody. Mario Lemieux is the only player in NHL history to wear 66, I believe.
Wow.
The other 2.
surprising.
All right, so you guys did all right. You got more than I
Hold
thought.
on, I
you'd
got
get.
3. Coach got 2, right?
Coach got 3. I'm sorry, you got 3. Coach got 2. The numbers you missed were number 52 and number 57.
Oh, wow.
And I got this directly from hockeyreference.com. So,
Wow.
all right. So we give Coach 2 points and Cousin Ed 3 for today.
All right. So little Ed, you're in the hole.
Was that too much? Did I over-engineer? Were we good? Like, what's up?
No, I like that. That was a good one.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to come up
think-
with like something like this every week, but I could definitely give you
I'm
one
gonna-
good trivia question.
I'm gonna say we get half a point per correct answer.
All right, that's cool. That's what you want
Coach,
to
do
do.
you agree with that, Coach, for that one? Because it's a lot of points. Because it puts little Ed less behind, and I think it's a little.
I'm not too worried about it, cuz. Not too
All right,
worried
3-2
about
then. Well, Poppy says I look like Mika.
Yeah,
right?
Poppy O'Neill. Poppy O'Neill hasn't gotten the trivia shout out in a while. Mike,
Ever
we might have to
since-
grab you one of those. He got me a trivia calendar. That's how this whole thing started.
Is that what
So
it was?
every week we used to take turns asking each other the questions until we got a producer, and then Mike took over. So now it's your job. But we had a calendar where it was a different Rangers trivia every day.
All right, I could do this. That's not too bad. We could come up with some fun trivia questions.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's take a look. Thank you, Mike, for that. I'm looking forward to trivia this year now. It looks like you're going to be challenging. Not that our last guy wasn't challenging, but
Look, as we spoke about
He's
before
gonna be
the
out to
episode,
get you.
I wasn't really sure. I wasn't sure about the age. I knew about what age you guys are, but it depends, and I want to make sure that
the
I
answer was it was Sergei Nemchinov, dude.
was
That's
Sergei Nemchinov.
perfectly
Right in the sweet
fine
spot.
in our range. We should have got that.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So let's look at the Rangers' upcoming schedule, sponsored by Sorrento's of Long Beach. Make sure when you're watching these games, you place your game day order. Pick it up, eat it at home, eat it there, whatever you got to do. Get your game day order at Sorrento's. On the road in Montreal tomorrow night, 7:15 p.m. Is that like a Montreal thing? It's not a national TV game. I haven't seen
No,
a
it's
game
tomorrow
start at
night.
7.
Tomorrow night's the puck frenzy, so they staggering the start.
Oh.
The game starts.
Are you guys
I
going to
think
watch
it's I think it's every 15 or half hour the game starts are. So
that? Nice.
that's
You
what
going to
they're
watch
doing.
that?
I'll probably throw it on in the background for sure. I'll have the Rangers on the main screen, and then maybe I'll throw on the puck frenzy on the puck frenzy
Frozen.
on my iPad. or
Frozen
something.
Frenzy, they're calling it. Right?
Frozen frenzy on my iPad or something. So But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna check it
last
out on
year
the second
last
screen.
year I watched it. It was cool. Is Butcher Gross doing it again?
I didn't see who was doing it.
I'm
I
not
saw
sure.
the ad though.
I like the guys on ESPN and stuff. They have a lot of good personalities. They keep it entertaining.
They're just goofy. Yeah, they're goofy.
Yeah,
So on the road tomorrow night during the Frozen Frenzy at Montreal. Then 2 home games Thursday and Saturday. Florida and the Anaheim Ducks come to New York, and then they're on the road in Washington to close out the month before the calendar flips in November. And the Ottawa Senators and New York Islanders come to MSG. That's the upcoming schedule, sponsored by Sorrento's. Looking forward to that. So next week we got 3 games to talk about instead of 2. I feel like there's a lot of time between the games so far this year. They're easing them into the season, I guess. But I saw a coach. The Devils have played 9 games already. Rangers played 5, I think.
Well, they started off with that European game, so
Was it 9
2
or
games.
7? I can't remember. They played.
Yeah, they had
8
the 2 games and they had the 2 games in Czechia to start the season.
Well, even so, they've played 6 since then. And
Yeah.
the Rangers have played 5. Washington's played 4 games. I feel like it's a little slow to start the year. So
It all come down the wash.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, boys, good episode. Looking forward to next week. 3 games to discuss. And maybe we'll get Mikey 150 back. Make sure you tell him I was at the Taylor Swift concert. I'd love to hear what he has to say during his 150. I'm sure he'll include a little tidbit there. And let's see if they scratch Trouba for Lindgren this week, guys. I know all the listeners out there want that to happen, so let's see if it happens. If you're a betting man, bet against that. But, do your thing. Until then, good luck to all the Ranger fans out there who root for the Yankees. You're a Ranger fan, so I'll say good luck. I'm rooting against the Yankees, probably. I can't really root for the Dodgers either, but I don't really know what I'm doing. But enjoy the World Series either way. Until next week, boys.
Love you guys.